Hello, and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. Let you know that a proposal is now active that would roll back specific transactions on the XRP ledger. This proposal is now up for a vote by the validators. For the avoidance of doubt, let's state up front at the start of the movie that the modification is not live until the proposal is passed, which would require the approval of over 80% of validators. However, at this time only the proposal is active. And it turns out that there are a lot of folks in our community that are having this initial reaction of "I don't like this is bad." Not only that, but my reaction was different. And I'm going to explain why. And please tell me if I'm overlooking something. Since I've only lately started giving this issue serious thought, I feel like I've read enough different viewpoints to say this. I'm still open to being persuaded as always. Although some of you on this service may disagree, I'm increasingly confident that this is ultimately beneficial to the XRP ledger. So, let me elaborate on that. Please explain why you think I'm wrong or what I'm missing in the comments area. If you can convince me otherwise with solid evidence, I'm willing to change my mind. It's not that I hope things turns out well or poorly. Just tell me what it is, and I'll form my own opinion on it. So, I am open to being convinced, but I don't see that happening now. Most likely, this is a net positive. I also have David Schwartz's take on the matter. But before we go any further, let me make it perfectly clear that I am not a financial expert and am not giving any sort of financial advice. And you should not make any financial decisions based on what I write or say. Just a hobbyist here that occasionally posts films to YouTube on various crypto-related topics. Well, here is the official Ripple X account, where the Ripple team has posted the following. In this case, I will read the initial section of the thread but not the rest. Clawback is a proposed new feature that will expand the XRP ledger's capacity to regulate tokenized assets. The XLS39 clawback function, which is included in the newest Ripple 12.0 release and up for vote by the validator community, will allow programmers to increase investors' confidence in the security of issued assets. Validators should read the docs to learn about the features and minimal effect on the XRP ledger. This will pave the way for a clawback, which appears to be the type of transaction reversal you have in mind. However, since there was so much worry from many in the XRP community, and I didn't see much explanation, in many cases at least, as to why I surmise that people jumped to the conclusion after reading this that this would apply, perhaps to XRP itself. I don't know if that's for sure what everybody's thinking. This does not apply to XRP. On the XRP ledger, XRP is the native asset. Also, XLS39 when discussing this proposal. In the event of approval, the clawback function would only be available for tokenized assets. In other words, assets issued on the XRP ledger by whoever or whatever is the ultimate authority. Furthermore, as you'll see, this only affects individuals who opt in to using the clawback option from the get-go. So, you can't get anything back if it isn't turned on from the start. It's strictly forbidden to do so. Knowing that allowed me to stop worrying about it and accept that it was simply a fresh start. Adding this new functionality is entirely up to you. You also can't disable the feature for now and turn it on later if you change your mind. At least, that's how I interpret it. Knowing how to stand is really an additional choice. I didn't, and I just don't get the big deal about it. No, I still don't see it. This is why I made the following public. Earlier today, I asked why everyone seems to think this is a poor idea in a post I made. XRP is excluded from this rule. It's possible you could convince me that this is a terrible plan of action. I'm looking for a counterargument to this suggested change, though. I have not yet witnessed this. Reply. Please share any wisdom you may have. To be crystal clear, I am still open to hearing alternative viewpoints. Perhaps there is a factor that I have overlooked. But I was reading what David Schwartz, who I spoke with this afternoon, had to say about the subject, and I thought I'd share it with you. And, he thought of a technical downside. Clawback is what most people would certainly assume, but you know what? That's a really negative sign. However, Did you realize that you can already put a hold on XRP ledger assets? XRP is not included since it is physically impossible to freeze XRP. However, did you realize that capability already exists on the XRP ledger? So, this is along the same lines. And in my opinion, such feature really shouldn't be included. Those whose assets are issued by a single authority. As an example, and many of you may already be aware of this, a company as recently as 2015 was tokenizing gold on the XRP ledger. It's unclear whether or not this practice is still in effect. And so, in practical terms, you're getting to think about, what if you're a centralized institution and then you just have a representation of gold on the XRP ledger? But what if someone loses the secret key to the gold? The gold itself still remains, but losing access to it could be a problem if it were to ever be stolen or misplaced. That's an actual scenario that could happen. Right? If, however, your chair has a clawback feature, this is not an issue. So, yes, you're putting your faith in a centralized body, but there should be centralized bodies willing to use the XRP ledger, and there are. Absolutely cool with me if that's the case. Nothing will alter XRP in any way. The XRP blockchain is decentralized, and so is XRP. Who can say? Neither XRP nor the XRP ledger are subject to any form of privileged control. So, there will be no alteration to it. Now I see there is more of a purpose to this. Should we vote yes on this? Here's what Santiago Valle, co-founder and head of Block Digital's research and development section, had to say about the matter. And he said to me, remember, no other asset issued on the XRP ledger, except for XRP is native and therefore all already have the counterparty risk of an issue or for redemptions. This isn't what he wrote, but it's a good reminder. That fact is now enshrined in law, allowing our WA to be issued in the conventional manner, as is our practice when relying on legal processes for resolution. So, there you have it. In any case, that confirms my first assumptions. However, he has just proven that David Schwartz did, too. And by the way, I'll show it to you right now. Welcome to XRP.org. And I'm like, wow, here we go, I guess. If you're interested, here's the section on the clawback. An example of a clawback amendment source, XRPL, available at XRPL.org. Allow clawback is a new setting that enables the recovery of previously issued tokens by the issuer. If the issuer has previously issued tokens, then this option will be disabled. That settles it, then. That is the exact how it operates. This thus is really a supplementary feature. Having that option available to developers and token issuers seems like a no-brainer. Why wouldn't we want that to be a possibility? I just can't think of a good reason to believe that. David Schwartz was merely analyzing the situation logically and arrived at a solution. Let me now relay to you what he has to say. According to David Schwartz himself, the time has come, he added, for a vote on the clawback amendment. When a new asset is issued with this functionality enabled, the issuer can take back a certain percentage of the asset from the holder at any given time. At first, I thought this was unnecessary repetition. Clawback doesn't add any utility beyond the freeze function already present in issued assets. However, there is a significant distinction. Stable coins that can be redeemed by their issuer for cash are an example of a type of asset that might be used in this context because they represent actual legal commitments. And since a legal obligation can expire for extraneous reasons like a court order, you need a means to reflect this in the books. You can't have assets on your books that stand in for legal responsibilities. That's a terrible prospect. The issue with freeze is that a frozen asset might not actually represent the issuer's legal obligation. The ownership of the asset may be in question, leading to a freeze. And even if that's the case, the issuer still has a binding responsibility to pay. However, the money could be inaccessible due to a court order mandating an alternative method of distribution. And once that payment has been made, there is no longer any enforceable debt. The issuer cannot guarantee that the ledger appropriately reflects its legal obligations if it just has frozen. This makes audits more difficult and reduces accountability. That is why I am in favor of this addition most of all. Finally, one more point. While it's true that clawback doesn't offer any functionality beyond that of freeze, it's only fair to consider the one valid criticism of this tool. And untrue, this is the only criticism I've heard, and it's a valid one, but I thought I'd point it out nonetheless. Many people are expressing their disapproval by calling this bad or negative. It's not something we desire, but I haven't seen the downsides explained. Besides this, even I would think this isn't a huge problem. What David Schwartz has to say, though, is as follows. In a freeze, there is no thawing. Precise precision characterizes a clawback. It's hard to disagree to this move if you believe issuers would always utilize clawback in situations where they would previously have used freeze. For the issuer, this means less constant contact. One could argue, however, that a surgical instrument designed to limit unintended consequences would be more likely to be employed. Russia would have no need to invade Ukraine if it only had nuclear weapons. It would be disastrous if they did, but that's probably why they won't. Clawback allows for precise attacks, while freezing is the nuclear option. Clawback, of course, is a feature that must be enabled prior to issuance by the issuer. Don't keep anything that can be taken away or frozen if you don't want to. The fact that XRP has no issuer means it can never be seized or reclaimed. Further, he writes this, I only had one more thing to say. There is a similar clawback function on other blockchains that use stable currency. Even though it's not absolutely required, not having it would force everyone who wants to use XRP ledger to interact with stable currency to come up with their own protocols and procedures. This is a particularly vexing issue for auditors and other sorts of institutions that face significant resistance when trying to adopt novel procedures. That settles it, then. According to David Schwartz. Again, if you think I'm overlooking something, or if you think David Schwartz has overlooked something, and you have a good reason why this is terrible, please let me know. I'm just stating, as I've mentioned several times before, that a lot of people are unhappy with this. And I'm just curious if their discontentment stems from that initial reaction. Because clawback and reversal of transactions both have negative connotations. I'm curious if their initial reaction was merely an unconscious one, oh, that sounds bad, before they knew what the term meant. Because, from what I can see, there are more benefits than drawbacks once you understand more about it. Comment down below and tell me what you think. You shouldn't use my advice to buy or sell anything because I'm not a financial expert. Please like and subscribe my channel. See you later, bye.